Welcome back to the Office Marketing Podcast with Mike Swigert, the podcast all about sales tips, mindset, and value bombs. 5 questions to help make your day more productive and learn a thing or two. Here is your host, best-selling author, Mike Swigert.
All right, guys, we are going to talk about the 3 basic ways to grow your business this year. And you're probably saying, how are you going to cover all 3 for all businesses? Because this literally covers every industry I could possibly think of. There's really only 3 ways to do it. One is extremely difficult. The other 2 are difficult too, but I'll tell you what, they're all difficult, but one is the most difficult. And I swear 99% of my questions that I'm fielded on a given day are all about the hardest way. So 3 ways to grow your business, right? First one, acquisition. Acquisition is without a doubt the most popular way people think of when it comes to growing their business. Acquisition, how do I get new business? How do I start new conversations? How do I put more people in my funnel? How am I going to do it? Whether it be social or trade shows or knocking on doors or cold calling or whatever it is, it's acquisition, 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 right? How am I getting more people into my ecosystem? And most of the companies that I work with are thinking about, how do I get new ones in? Because in general, people that are in the relationship business aren't very good at acquiring new business. They're probably good at referrals. They're probably good at taking care of a client when they work at one company and then they go work at a new company and they bring the business. And you know who you are, who's listening to this right now. Yeah, that's kind of how you've grown your business. If you've been at the same company for 20 years, you've probably lived off of referral and people that you work with going to another company. And now you have 2 clients, right? The old one stayed with you and the new one came with you, right? So that's acquisition. And you can grow a lot in acquisition. I talk a lot about acquisition in these other podcasts, but when we think about acquisition, I really want you to think about, how am I introducing people into a very clear funnel, right? I want you to have clarity of, okay, well, if I go to a trade show and I collect 80 business cards, what does that look like, right? How do we turn that client into, or how do we turn that prospect into a, almost, you want to turn them into a salesman person for your company. You want them to be a cheerleader, right? So that's the bottom of your funnel. The funnel is not the transaction, right? The funnel is, okay, well, we met them at a trade show. Now we're going to, try to engage them, get to know them personally, see if they're a good fit, culture fit for your company. We're then going to engage them, find out, sort of go through the dating process. If a project or an opportunity comes up, then maybe we get a bid. If you win or lose the bid, you learn from that. If you eventually win the bid, you kill it for them. You provide amazing service. And then you keep doing that. And then you ask them, for a referral, or you ask them for, other ways to do your business better, right? That's a clear funnel. That's our acquisition funnel.
This episode of the Office Marketing Podcast is brought to you by Fusion Advisory. We help commercial contractors generate leads online profitably. Check us out at fusion-advisory.com.
Now, another funnel or another way to grow your business, number 2 is ascension, right? So number 1 is acquisition. Number 2 is ascension. These are the 3 ways to grow your business. Ascension is number 2. So with ascension, that's a great way, because it's really, a lot of people know that I've sold furniture, I've sold lighting in the past, right? And a lot of times, if it was a client, maybe they just kind of threw us a bone and we got like seating for some ancillary seating, or maybe just seating for a conference room. And a lot of time that's the client kind of, testing you out to see if you can bring a little bit of value. Okay. And maybe you do a great job with for instance, let's just stick with the furniture one, right? You get the seating for their conference rooms, right? Well, you're doing seating, you're doing a good job. It's a great time to show them. You do that project. Well, if it's somebody like Coca-Cola or UPS or Cox or someone like that, well, then you would like to ascend them. You would like to bring them up the ascension, right? And then maybe it's like, hey, I hope we did a good job with the conference seating there. I'd love to talk to you about some solutions I had for conference tables that actually worked really well with that, right? Now we're sending them. Now all of a sudden you turn an X client into a 2X client. If you can recognize a way that you have clients that have engaged you on projects and you can think of ways to bring them more real value, that's ascending them, right? To a lot of people, that sounds like common sense, but when you're looking at your prospecting, really think about that. Go through your current client list. Don't just be like, okay, these are my targets. That's our acquisition way to grow. But let's look at ascension. Who are the people that have done little projects with us? Don't just scoff at them and write them off, and think about, like, how can we bring them more value? What's the next step? How do I present to them solutions? Now, ideally, you have them in a nurturing campaign, right? We have acquisition campaigns, we have nurturing campaigns. Someone who maybe bought one chair from us, or a monitor arm, or some sort of lighting, or whatever you're into, guys. But whatever value you brought one, hopefully you're bringing them through a nurturing campaign. And then look through your list. I'll tell you what, you're going to have a lot more success engaging a client who did a little job with you than trying to engage someone who's never heard of your business before, right? So 1 is acquisition, 2 is ascension. Think about bringing a client up through it. And you could even think about it in your acquisition model, saying like, hey, I don't need to have the whole job. What piece of this can I bring value to? And if you're always thinking about how I bring value, maybe you have a long-term strategy, play the long game on ascension, right? Next one, it's going to sound very cliche, but number 3 is retention. Constantly be putting systems in place to retain your clients. Absolutely love your clients, especially if they're clients that are a great culture fit for your company, right? Be thinking about, how am I constantly trying to come up with a better technology, a better level of service, a better level of communication, a better level of just acumen from what you offer to how you deliver that. How are you bringing value? Does your client want to be educated? Does your client want to know what the latest technologies are? Are you coming to them with ideas, going like, hey, let me show you a better way that we can even bring you more service. This is how we can make your life easier, right? When you're doing that, you will retain clients. Or how about this in retention? Why not ask your clients how you can bring them more value? They may have an idea that they saw somewhere, maybe from one of your competitors trying to throw something at them, going like, hey, you know what? This sounds kind of cool. Do you think y'all could do this? Right? And if you're having this dialogue with your clients, your retention will go through the roof. So just to kind of sum it up here, okay? 3 ways to grow this year, guys. 3 ways to grow. 1, yes, you can acquire new clients. It's always going to be important to bring new people into your ecosystem. Very, very important to have an acquisition funnel and clarity in your funnel. 2, ascension. Be thinking about, how do I bring a little value and then constantly try to grow the client to bring them more and more and more value, right? And then that last one is retention. Have a great dialogue with your client, find out ways that you can serve them better and bring them just higher levels of technology on a regular basis, and you will grow this year. Money, you can have all your money back from this podcast. So hope you guys enjoy it and have a great day. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Office Marketing Podcast. Be sure to join the conversation on our YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and Facebook pages. If you enjoyed the episode, head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.